All right, guys, I just want to give everyone a heads up that this is where I deviate from your text, okay? The Chapter 7, Probability and Statistics, it covers so much. Typically, everything I would cover, almost everything I cover, in a whole semester worth of statistics, which I will be offering later on through the PEP. But so I wanted to narrow it down in order just to have like a greater conceptual understanding and focus less on calculations and some of the really more complicated probability questions that they have. So without further ado, let's talk about variance and standard deviation. So when we're given a sample and we plot a frequency distribution, it has a shape, right? And because we're often just interested in the general shapes of distributions, we want to draw like a smooth curve in order for us to see the general shape rather than the original kind of rigid data set. When we're looking at data sets and their distributions, we want to look for things like symmetry, right? We talked about symmetry a little bit earlier. A distribution is symmetric if its left half is the mirror image of its right half. So all three of these are symmetric, but they all have a different distribution. Skewness is another concept. So skewed distributions can either be left skewed, right? This is called left skewed because the mean and median are less than the mode, so they're to the left of the mode. Even though the hump is on the right, it's left skewed. For right skewed, our mode is to, our median and mean are to the right of our mode, so they're greater than our mode. And for a symmetric distribution, also called a normal distribution, which we're going to talk about a lot, the mean, median, and the mode are all equal. So let's take a look at an example. Let's think about skewedness for a little bit. So for each of the following situations, state whether you think the distribution would be symmetric, left skewed, or right skewed. So if we talk about heights of a sample of 100 women, I think that would be pretty symmetric, right? If we took a random sample of 100 women. Family income in the United States, one could think about that as being right skewed because we have some outliers out here, like the owner of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, right? But the average income's over here. So this is going to be symmetric, and family income would be left skewed. So speeds of cars on a road where a visible patrol car is using radar to detect speeders. Here's our graph. Okay, so I think this one would probably also be, I think this one's gonna be right skewed, but I think you could argue left skewed too. So let's say we've got a few people going really slow because they got really, really nervous. This is our speed here. But most people are going the speed limit. A few people are going a little over, but nobody's all the way over here, right? Nobody's going 100 when the patrol car's around. So this would be right skewed. Variation describes how widely data in a set are spread around the center. So this one has low variation, right? It's got a smaller range. Range is another measure of variation. This one has moderate variation, and this one has high variation, right? There's a wide spread in those data values. Variance is one way we can talk about the spread of a distribution around its mean. So here I have drawn two probability distributions. The one on the left is more concentrated around the mean, right? We would call this a symmetric curve. And the one on the right is more spread out. So there's more variation in how the data values surround the mean. Like I said, range is also a measure of variation. And the range of a data set is the difference between the highest value and the lowest value. So let's go ahead and look at an example. So let's look at the two sets of quiz scores. So I have quiz 1, that I got a score of 1 and then a whole bunch of 10s, and quiz 2, which is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So which set has the greater range? Quiz 1 has a range of 10 minus 1, so 9. Range of quiz 2 is 10 minus 2, so 8. So quiz 1 has the greater range. Which one has the greater variation? Which one has the greater difference in its values? That's going to be quiz 2. Quiz 1, you can see all the values are the same except for 1, so they're going to be really concentrated around that mean median mode, which is really, really close to 1.